I am calling for Patrick Stupfel. Patrick, my name is Mary Wheat. I work with Mercy Corps as the CEO's office. And I know that you've reached out to our front desk and left some voicemails and also, had some contact with Dominic and Alex Partners. I'd like to be able to talk to you, if possible, if you're open to that.
So we're going to be calling Mercy Corps back today since they left me a message, and it's rather important. We'll see if they answer. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hey, yeah, this is Patrick. This is Patrick Stupfel. You left me a message wanting to circle back. Just giving you a call back today.
Hi, Patrick. Oh, sorry. Thanks for. Sorry, I just couldn't hear anything. Yeah, I appreciate you calling me back. And I just wanted to follow up with you on kind of what you had called in and just wanted to follow up with you if you want to make an appointment to talk.
Yeah, I'm just really traumatized. I have really bad PTSD, and Alyssa Kennegeyer tried to set me up and call the police on me before, and so I'm so traumatized that that's why I didn't want to talk to Dominic, because I felt some hostility from him, and I'm like, is this a defensive or an offensive position, kind of like Alyssa tried to abuse me before, or is this an actual serious conversation? So that's what scares me a little bit, because I had to get the defense of Bernie Giusto, the former Multnomah County Sheriff, just to defend me in my honor, because he knew that the Kennegeyers and what they were doing was pretty sus on a local and global level. So when she tried to call the cops on me, it had nothing to do with Twitter or any of that, but it had to do with the Jeremy Christian Max Train stabbings. Long before I met Tanya and Epstein's victims, I was targeted by a crazy racist named Jeremy Christian. You may remember that in 2017. It's so Alyssa, so I told Alyssa all about that, hey, there's this racist threatening to kill me, he wants to kill me, he's probably going to do it, can we have him arrested? And for a month, Alyssa knew, Ted Wheeler knew, I know these people, they groomed me, they all groomed me for leadership, and they just laughed and didn't care that he was hunting me and targeting me. At the time, I was trying to build bridges on all sides, the left, the right, people fighting in the streets. I'm like, I know how to stop this. It sounded crazy to Alyssa, but I literally pulled a rabbit out the hat and got I got Ammon Bundy of all people to support Black Lives Matter. So in that kind of spirit, I'm like, watch me get these people in the streets to stop fighting on prison reform. That didn't really necessarily work. It got me attacked by Jeremy Christian. Alyssa called the cops over the issue. After the killings happened, I said, Alyssa, I'm kind of a prophet on that, no offense, but I could be dead because of Ted stand-downs. She didn't take my side, even after the murders. She didn't meet with Micah Fletcher, even after he got stabbed in the neck and almost got killed. And she didn't come to Rio's Ribs, Snoop Dogg's uncle's restaurant, where I first met Micah Fletcher after the stabbing. So I did a lot of solidarity work based on what I learned through Mercy Corps, what I learned through the Kennegeyers. And then Alyssa, saw that I was doing solidarity work after the stabbings, and she's like, I don't want to go to Rio's, I don't want to meet with the stabbing victims, I don't care that you were almost stabbed to death, doing solidarity work that I should have been doing. And she just took this completely delusional, weird worldview of we're just going to cover this up. I'm like, it was a racist terrorist attack, your protege almost got killed, people got stabbed in the neck who want to heal the divide. And she disengaged completely and started slandering my name around town. So that's why, and she called the cops on me, because I went to City Hall with an old business card saying I'm a whistleblower on her. And she tried to say to the police that I was, spinning that I worked for her. I'm like, Alyssa, that doesn't make sense. Why would I hand out an old business card when it's easily verifiable that I don't work for you and haven't worked for you in years? So she told me to go to the city council to bring the issue to them instead of her. And I'm like, fine, if you don't want to stand for victims of stabbings, racist terrorist attacks, who do you want me to go to? She said, go to the city. I said, I've already talked to Joanne, but I'll talk to her again. So I go to Joanne's office, Joanne Hardesty. I tell her staff point blank, look, Alyssa's going to get exposed, whether she likes it or not. I'm trying to help her clean her hands of some stabbing stuff, but she's doing really bullshit things, and like she will get called out if this issue of the stabbing doesn't get highlighted. Like the police commissioner, the mayor can't be the police commissioner. That system needs to change. So like I cited the Portland City Club and the report on governance as to why Ted can't be police commissioner. That interaction got Alyssa to call the police on me, and she tried to slander me to the Oregon State Police. Luckily, I already knew Bernie Justo, and Bernie was a former boss OG of the OSP. He drove Neil Goldschmidt, so he's very credible. Yeah, so he went on TV with me on the Oregon Voters Digest. So some of these things have been talked about already publicly, and backed up by the former sheriff who knows me. Has known me since military high school. He's known me since I worked with Alyssa. So he was shocked to hear that Alyssa literally tried to like just ruin the life of one of her golden proteges. And she has many proteges, I'm just one, but the cold, callous, calculated nature of how she just discarded me and attacked me and tried to... Bernie said that she tried to politically neuter me, character assassinate me with that police call. So after that, it kind of shocked Alyssa that like, oh, that didn't work. We couldn't slander him. He has friends in law enforcement at the highest. Oh shit, this is awkward. So I just said to her, let's still be politically friends, even though this was not tight. I'ma forgive that, and we'll still talk. But we didn't really have a good rapport after that. But we still kept the line open. And a couple years later, Epstein came out, and that's when I reached. We never stopped talking necessarily, but that's when I raised the issue specifically of Epstein and said, I see this guy Epstein coming out. You know, it's pretty sketch. I know you're connected via the CGI, and no one's going to tell you. Like, I knew Roberto. Roberto's nice. Brian was nice. All of her yes men are nice. But they're not necessarily going to tell her, the leader of Davos, of granddaughter JCPenney, billionaire. People are afraid to tell people of that caliber true trajectories. And I see trajectories. And I said, look, there's a freight train. Epstein, I can help you clean your hands, but it's delicate. We have to march against that. And she didn't want to. I'm like, okay, there's something really hinky going on here. I know there's something. I have messages between me and Alyssa on Facebook, which was illegal. Like, she should have been saying that on the rep account, but she didn't want to talk on the rep account because that's FOIA requestable. So she was, and I respected it. I'm like, okay, if you want to talk on the down low, we can talk on the down low on Facebook, but we really need to talk about Epstein and cleaning the hands of this. And I have all these messages where I'm after I was abused, after I was slandered, after she tried to ruin my life, I still tried to help her clean her hands. And that could have taken me down with the ship. Because if anybody reads those messages out of context, and I mean out of context, they could say, oh, Patrick was trying to be a fixer with Epstein. No, I wasn't. No. I didn't know about her Tawny Culver Humphrey stuff at the time. I just knew that she was in the same rooms, Epstein, the same shit, and that, God forbid anybody find it out, she would have a lot of explaining to do, and she couldn't explain it. So I was trying to help her really understand, and she didn't understand. And then the Tanya Culver Humphrey story broke, and I was like, oh my God, that's why she didn't want to help, because she was covering up. And I'm not saying this. Other people who know Alyssa, I'm not going to name a name, but the gentleman who built Mercy Corps' headquarters is also a good mentor of mine. He also said...
Who are you talking about?
So there's a lot of people who know that the Kenny guys have targeted me and tried to ruin my life, even though I've gently tried to help them. It does not help me to tell them things they don't want to hear, but I know that those trajectories, I'm kind of a prophet in a weird way. I see things, I know things. And so, anyways, the main point of all this is that go ahead.
Can I interject?
Please do.
It sounds like you've been through a lot, and I'm sorry that you had to experience everything that you're explaining. A couple of things that were concerning to me when you left the voicemail, and I want to explain a little bit about dominance. You mentioned in your voicemail that you had been groomed.
By Sam Adams. By Sam Adams specifically. I was a youth commissioner.
By Mercy Corps.
That too.
Sam, there's nothing I can do about that, but by Mercy Corps.
It's about many people.
That in there. And that, well, when you say groomed, so
For leadership, not as a pet. I didn't say a pedophile or anything like that. I'm very. So one thing to know about me is I'm very clear with my language. Very clear with my language.
I just want to explain, because you've talked about Dom. The reason why we reached out to Dom is because of that statement. We take any potential sex abuse, anything that might have happened.
Can I tell you something privately? Well, not privately, but yeah. I will say that on my 21st birthday, so I was politically groomed by the Kindergeiers, obviously, but on my 21st birthday, in retrospect, they definitely tried to have sex with me drunkenly. I had to drive Alyssa home from a party in Salem where she was kind of tipsy. I don't really care about that. But I was only 21. I just got my license, and I had to drive her from Salem to Portland when she was tipsy, and I left my phone in her car, and I went to my girlfriend's house when because it's my birthday. I've been in Salem all day, and she kept trying to give me beer all day in Salem, which is weird. She presented me with my first beer inside Salem. I'm like, is this a setup? Is this even legal? And then later there was a party in Salem, and then later I had to drive her home, and then because I left my phone in her car, hours later on my birthday I had to call my own phone from a Plaid Pantry, and there's NSA records of the phone call from Plaid Pantry to my phone saying, oh God, Alyssa, thank God you have my phone. It's 9 o'clock at night. I guess I'll pick it up tomorrow at the office, right? And she was like, oh no, come over. I'm thinking to myself, this is awkward. This is the granddaughter of JCPenney. I don't want to make her feel uncomfortable or any kind of weird. It's 9 o'clock at night. I don't want to go to her house. I already feel uncomfortable carpooling with a woman with that stature. So I went, let me finish. This is very key. You said you wanted to hear about any kind of grooming.
No, I did not say that I wanted. What I said was, you mentioned being groomed by someone at Mercy Corps or by Mercy Corps.
I'm just saying I've seen Neil Kenny Geyer almost butt naked, and I don't know why he was sitting on the couch almost butt naked on my birthday. I was just there for my phone. I grabbed it and left.
You were not a juvenile, right? You were 20 years old.
I'm not talking. That doesn't matter. Is it appropriate for Neil Kenny Geyer to be almost butt naked talking to you on your birthday when you don't want anything to do with that, and you're just...
That's not... So, Dominic was part of the investigation for Tanya Culver-Humphrey.
Okay.
And I know Tanya very well. Are you saying that you've met with Tanya, or that you are...
well, you heard the message, right?
I'm sorry?
You did hear my voicemail, right? It was very clear on how I know these people.
I heard your voicemail, but I'm just asking you directly if you have I mean, are you in contact with Tanya?
So going back to...
kind of partner with Tanya?
So I partner with whistleblowers all around the world, and some I'm friends with, some I'm not very close with. Tanya I'm not that close with, but I did unify her with somebody I'm very close with, Virginia Gouffre.
Okay.
So there's a tweet that's the main issue is why I called, is because I'm upset that in the wake of Elon, I've already said this, Elon buying Twitter, VJ now has to justify why she's still at Mercy Corps in the wake of a murderous pedophile ring cover-up, let alone banning the whistleblowers of that, i.e. me. So it's kind of a little ridiculous, but I brought together Virginia Gouffre and Tanya on Twitter, and I have that tweet that I'd love to share with the board.
Okay.
Because that tweet alone, where Virginia and Tanya are coming together because of me, and I asked the question, I'm getting doors slammed in my face, people aren't listening, what do we do? Is it continue to knock on doors politely, or do we go the Ricky Gervais route, roasting people like the Golden Globes? And so I asked the question, and I was asking for the blessing of what to do to the victims, to the women. Mind you, I'm a different kind of victim, not having been raped, but I've definitely been groomed by a bunch of weirdos in politics, and they tried to ruin my life on many different issues. So when I brought those two together on Twitter, it was not about me, it was about bringing those two together, and through me, that's how it happened. Unfortunately, when VJ banned me, all of that great work, unifying Tanya and Virginia and the things that we had all talked about, that's all hidden because my account's now suppressed. So it's...
Well, Mercy Corps had nothing to do with banning you from Twitter. We don't have that kind of power.
Well, it's a dual issue because VJ still sits on the board. That's not the issue I brought up at all. The issue that I brought up was that how can I be banned off Twitter when VJ herself banned me and she is at Mercy Corps? And I got banned for talking about Mercy Corps with Mercy Corps whistleblowers, Epstein whistleblowers, and myself.
Patrick, that is something that you are saying. There is
Absolutely, I would agree that wouldn't you agree that nobody involved in a murderous pedophile ring cover-up should be on a board of anything? Wouldn't you agree? That's why most of the board resigned.
I feel there is, believe me, there is nothing to show that she in any way was part of any kind of cover-up.
Well, we don't even know. Like, do you know? Because I asked and I don't even know.
Yeah, I do.
How do you know?
I do.
What did VJ say? So what was VJ's involvement in the whole, when Neil Kennegeyer first wanted... It's not going to work if we talk over each other.
One of the main things that I wanted to ensure is that in no way that you had any involvement, or anyone from Mercy Corps, anything like what had happened to Tanya, or anyone had groups.
I just told you, Neil Kennegeyer tried to talk to me almost butt naked on my 21st birthday. Is that not concerning to you?
I don't have enough information. I think that...
And we're here to give you the information.
I don't know. That is something between, if you wanted to file a report at the time, but that is not something that we would be...
So you're doing what you did to Tanya. You're just repeating what you did.
You have no idea, Patrick.
No, it's a similar situation, because if VJ was on the board...
You have no idea what... If you knew more about me, you would know that I am not someone that would ever protect Neil Kennegeyer. Okay.
Well, it sounds like you kind of are, because you're not even talking to me about the issue.
Because I'm not here to talk to you about that.
Well, what are you here to talk to me about then? Because it seems like you're very hostile and confrontational.
Because I want... No.
Yes, that's exactly how this sounds.
It's not hostile.
No, it is hostile. You can wordsmith all you want.
We care very much about any potential survivors.
You don't care about me. I just told you about how Alyssa called the cops on me for a max stabbing and then repeated to try to,
Survivors as far as sexual assault or anything like that.
And again, I've told you on my 21st birthday, Neil Kennegeyer tried to get me drunk and he was almost butt naked. I don't know why, but that's pretty weird. And you're not wanting to talk about that.
Earlier you said it was his wife that tried to get
They both were trying to get me to drink when I was at the house, grabbing my cell phone and trying to leave. They kept trying to ensnare me into the conversation.
Patrick, I have informed the CEO and the board chairs.
About what exactly?
Of your concerns.
What is the concern that you've been... But you haven't actually done that due diligence because you haven't even talked to me yet, and you said you've already passed on. So you're totally covering...
You tried to have an external investigator talk to
a whitewashed investigation. I would much rather have Congress investigate this because they have more teeth, and Mercy Corps is not attacking a whistleblower in that defense.
That you can do that. You can seek that out.
I already have. It's down the pipeline.
You did try to have an external investigator talk to you.
And external investigators paid by Mercy Corps for 2 years. Okay, let's... And your attitude's not that great either. The point is you're really not having a good attitude towards survivors. You're not doing a good investigation whatsoever. And I've had Bernie Justo do a much better investigation with me. No, hold on. I've done an investigation myself with Bernie Justo, and we published it on TV better than this. I don't appreciate the hostile tone.
I'm not. Patrick, I'm a retired sexual assault investigator.
And you're covering up for VJ Gade. Yes, you are.
I don't cover up for anybody.
If she was on the board during a murderous pedophile ring, why does she have to stay on the board now? Why is that acceptable?
She was not on the board.
She was. In 2018, she joined the board. If you don't know that, then your facts are wrong. You don't have the facts. She joined in 2018, and in 2019, the cover-up happened, and she sat on the board. I've been asking the questions politely for a while now. What did she know and when did she know it? You have yet to supply me any factual information on that.
Patrick,
nothing.
We have been very transparent.
No, you haven't.
We released our full investigation.
You didn't say what VJ Gade of Twitter and Mercy Corps knew and when she knew it. That's the meat of the issue.
No.
That's not even a real answer. Because no? What are you even saying? Because no what?
Patrick, so I really wanted to try to make sure that you were not in some way a potential survivor of Elf Culver or any of those other individuals that were discussed in the investigation. There is nothing more I can do
How do we know that Neil didn't rape kids? Like, there's many other people involved, and Tanya made that very clear. There were many other people involved.
Our investigation.
Why do you keep interrupting me? Like, for real, let's get to the main point. Why do you think it's acceptable to interrupt people if you think you're so nice?
Patrick, I am nice. We all have our...
But we all get to interrupt people when we want to, even though we're nice.
No. So, Patrick, if you want to make an appointment to have a longer conversation, I'm happy to do that. I do have to go into it.
May I ask you what conversation we're going to have if this is the same kind of attitude you're going to bring to the table? Like, what conversation are we going to have? About what? Is it going to further the needle about VJ and the issue, or is it going to be you attacking a whistleblower? I'm willing to have a conversation eloquently and downshift from this hostility, but you have to show me on your good faith that you're willing to be, faithful to that conversation. So far, all I've heard is you try to cover the bases of Mercy Corps and silence a whistleblower who's friends with Epstein's whistle. Like, what are you doing? Do you understand how bad PR this is? I'm asking, are you open to the meeting or not?
Patrick, I'm not here for any PR. I'm truly reaching out to you to try to find out more information about the comment that you made in your voice.
I want my Twitter back and I want to meet with VJ. Can we make that happen? Like, it should be a simple meeting.
No, that is... I know that you've already you have outreach to her outside of Mercy Corps, all right? So
well, I can't. Actually, I haven't, and I can't because there's no way to call Twitter.
No, that is not something that Mercy Corps is going to set up. So I'm sorry.
You guys should, because she covered up a murderous pedophile ring with the board.
There's no evidence to show that.
No, she was on the board. I don't know if you're understanding my language, but no one has said what her role was, and I have reason to believe 100%, which will come out, that she probably just sat there and let Neil Kennegeyer do that Skype call. Because I don't know that she said don't do the Skype call. That's the question that you can't answer, that you keep dodging from. What did you know? When did she know it?
I don't know what Skype call is.
When Neil Kennegeyer went on a Skype call and tried to defend his job, and there was a global mutiny against him on that's what caused him to resign. The mutiny against him on the global Skype call.
I was there.
So you know that he went on the Skype call.
I know a lot. I know there was not a Skype call.
Well, the Zoom call, what do you call that? Is that he went on that call.
I'm the one that was the moderator. I'm the one that moderated that call.
So was there a board vote on should he defend himself or not? Like, was there a board vote before that call?
Well, okay.
That's the key question here. You're trying to pigeonhole me, and it's really irritating my PTSD. Please stop talking over me. I'm getting to the key issue here. No, I'm asking questions. I'm not saying things. I'm asking questions.
And I'm trying to give you the answer, but you don't want to hear the answer.
I do want to hear it.
The answer is I moderated, and I asked those questions of Neil. I'm the one that went at Neil.
Thank you. So did he have a board meeting before he went on that call, or did he just do that alone, by himself, without any vote?
As the CEO, it felt like he was answering the questions on a global live stream.
No, before the live stream was set up. I'm asking you, I've asked 5 different ways. Before the live stream was ever set up, was there any conversations on the board if he should go ahead and defend himself? Because I feel that there probably was. Unless there wasn't, and that's the questions I'm asking. I'm not making accusations here, I'm very clear.
I don't know of anything like that. I do know that he did a global live stream. I moderated it. I asked the questions.
Thank you for doing that.
Difficult questions.
Thank you for doing that. And I apologize that we have a terse conversation here, but the meat of the issue that I want to get to is before that call, was there a vote? Was there a board? What did VJ know? And I want to get to the bottom of that so that I can put a bookend on all this trauma.
I don't know of anything like that. But what I am going to have to do, if you want to continue the conversation, we're going to have to set another time. Because I do have to lead a meeting, and I'm late for right now. So I have to lead that meeting.
I'll let you lead that meeting. I'll get back to you another time, though. Have a good one.
But I do want to continue the conversation. I am open to having a continued conversation. I don't want it to be negative, but I also want to give you the answers that I have. Maybe not, but you know a lot. I've been involved in this very beginning, as far as when it went public, once we found out about it. Okay. I didn't know anything about it before, but, all right? So let me know you text me or email me and let me know a good time.
I'll be in touch.
Okay.
Have a good one.
Okay.
Well, your name is Mary? So that was Mary Wheat of Mercy Corps, and she literally just tried to like talk shit, and discredit everything I was saying. But they can't really discredit what I'm saying because what I'm saying is fucking facts.